Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Does anybody have any questions? All right, well, if no one has questions, let's go ahead and start. All right, so of course there's a notes. I already talked about it in the lecture. Okay, so hopefully you already watched that, or today might be confusing. Okay, one thing I do want to say about the videos is, like, I know they're lengthy. Okay, the main thing I want you guys to do is at least listen to the notes part. All right, just so you have an idea, and maybe a couple of examples. I timestamped them so you can go around. Okay, just so you have an idea of how to solve these. Right, but I do all those examples, so if you get stuck one day, you can always refer back to my video and then you know, watch an example, and hopefully, you know, some light bulbs light up. Right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so our in-class problem says solve for the variable, and we're given the absolute value of 3t plus 12 is equal to 3. Right, and we can follow these steps right here. I'm actually going to bring this up because this is right. So I have the absolute value of 3t plus 12 equals to 3. Can someone tell me what's the very first thing I do, or first thing I check?
You check to see if the absolute value has been isolated.
Yeah, and has our absolute value been isolated?
Yes.
Yes, very good. It is isolated. It's isolated when it has the absolute values of whatever is in here is equal to, like, let's say k, right? There should be no constant here, like there should be no coefficient, right, or no power. Right, now that we have isolated the absolute value, what can we do next?
Can you separate it into two different equations?
Yeah, and what property are you using? We will be using property 1. Okay, so can someone tell me, if I apply property 1, how does this equation get separated?
Isn't it 3t plus 12 equals 3, and then negative 1 times the quantity 3t plus 12 equals 3?
Yeah, so that's the definition of a absolute value. So yes, you can rewrite it as 3t plus 12 is equal to 3. And then you know how you have, like, for example, if you have the absolute value of 3, that is equal to 3. If you have the absolute value of negative 3, that is also equal to 3. So you can just negate this whole thing. Okay, but if you directly, so I should erase this, right? This is just by definition, right? But if you want to apply property 1, okay, then it would just be 3t plus 12 equal to 3, or 3t plus 12 is equal to negative 3. And as you can see, even if you use it by definition, you'll end up getting to property 1, because if you divide both sides by negative 1, you will get this. Right? Very good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve for t. Okay, so I have 3t. Okay, subtract 12 from both sides. I get is equal to not negative 9. Okay, so and then divide both sides by 3, I get t is equal to -3. Okay. Over here, I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides as well. So I get 3t is equal to -15. Divide both sides by 3, I get t is equal to -5. Right. For this one, I'll show you guys how to check. Okay. And then probably after that, I'll just let you guys check. Okay, so if we check, remember if there's two values, you have to specifically tell me which one you're doing. So let's do t is equal to -3 first. Okay, so wherever I see a t, I'm going to plug in -3. Does this equal to 3? Okay, I have -9 plus 12 equal to 3. Absolute value of 3. Does this equal 3? Excuse me. What is the absolute value of 3? It is 3. Okay, since this holds, t equals -3 is a solution. Now let's check t is equal to -5. When I do that, I get 3 times -5 plus 12. Does this equal to 3? Okay, we get -15 plus 12. Okay, then we get -3 over 3. Okay, absolute value, it is a distance, so it's always positive. This 3 is equal to 3. Right, since both hold, what does that mean? That means our solutions are -5 and -3. Right. Any questions on that? If not, okay, let's continue. So the second one, I have the absolute value 4x plus 8 is equal to -4. First things first, we have to make sure it's isolated. All right, in this case it is. Okay, so what do I do next?
You can use property 1 to separate them to do two different equations.
So we could, but look very carefully. So we have property 1. Okay,
property 3.
Yeah, property 3, we have this absolute value is equal to a negative number. Okay. So, like I said in my lecture video, you could apply property 1 and then you'll see that both answers are contradictions, so it's not a solution. But let's go ahead and just apply property 3. Okay, by property 3, no solution. Okay, so you can just give me the empty set. Very good. So remember the absolute value, it is a distance. Distances are always positive. So if you're told, oops, yeah, so even if you test it, like even if you did like absolute value of like -50, okay, it's always going to be positive 50. If you like, so -k, okay, you're always going to be left with a positive k. So it's it can never be negative. Right, assuming k is greater than 0, right? If k is not positive, then this is a whole different story. Right. What about the third one? I have the absolute value of 3y plus 12 is equal to 0.
Use property 2 that absolute value of u equals 0 is equivalent to u equals 0.
Okay, so what would I write down here? Like what would my equation become?
3y plus 12 equals 0.
Perfect. Okay, again, you could apply property 1 too as well, but then you get plus 0, and then you would get equals minus 0. What is that? That's just 0. So you can just separate it into 1 equation. Right? So again, we're going to solve for y. And when we do that, we get y is equal to -4. Okay, so I'll let you guys check it. My solution's wrong. Yeah, okay. So yeah, even if you just look at it right now, but you have to, for a test, you actually have to check it. Okay, but you'll see that it'll become -12 plus 12. Absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. That's good. All right, so what is our answer? Our answer is -4. Right? So that is the first set of equations, or yeah, it's the first set of problems we're going to be doing. So now let's take it up a notch, right, and just do the problems that are just a little bit harder. So for the first one, I have -3 times the absolute value of 2w equal to -24. Okay, what do I do first? Ooh,
Divide both sides by -3.
perfect. You would divide by -3. We're gonna, this is an example I did on the lecture video. Okay, I copied the wrong problem. But yes, you would divide both sides by -3. Then you get the absolute value of 2w is equal to 8. Okay, do not be fooled. When you see that -24, you cannot automatically tell me no solution because you have not isolated the absolute value yet. Right? Let me actually copy the problem right. Okay, so for this one, what's the first thing I do?
Divide both sides by 4.
Yeah, and why are we dividing both sides by 4?
To isolate the absolute value.
Perfect. We want to isolate the absolute value. Now that the absolute value is isolated, what do we do next? Oops.
Apply property 1.
Yeah, perfect. I wish I could make this one go in front. It's fine. All right. You guys can also have this pulled up, okay, because I also provide it. So for property 1, if I wanted to rewrite this, what do I write?
W minus 2 equals 11. And W minus 2 equals -11.
Perfect. Okay, be very careful. You actually use the or. Right. We'll talk about compound statements on Friday, but essentially, if there was and, then these two would have to be, like, they would have to happen at the same time. Okay, as you can, since it's equal, it's obviously never going to happen. So if you use and, then everything would always be no solution. Or takes the union of everything. Right, so just be careful with that. It's or. Very good, the equations are correct. Okay, let's solve for W. When I do that, I get W is equal to 13, or W is equal to -9. Right? Okay, we're gonna check it. Okay, so we already did, or pretend we already did, and our solution is -9 and 13. Right? So now the second problem, we are given the absolute value of 2y plus 2 is equal to 14. Okay, what do we do first?
Subtract 2.
Yeah, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We want to isolate the absolute value. right? In order to do that, we gotta get rid of that extra stuff. Right, what can I do next?
Apply property 1.
And what would I write?
2y equals 12 or 2y equals negative 12.
Perfect. Right. When we solve for y, I get y is equal to 6 or y is equal to negative 6. Right. Of course, we're going to check it. Right. With my solutions, that's right. Or both of them check out. Right. So our answer is plus or minus 6. Right. Any questions? Oh, okay, got it. So let me bring this down. Right, and let's work on the third set of problems. Okay, so again with this, we're still solving absolute value or absolute value equations, right? So same steps, it's just going to be, we just have to do a couple more things. Okay, so in this equation, I have 2 times the absolute value of x minus 8, okay, plus 24 is equal to 24. So what do I do first?
Subtract 24.
Yeah. Okay. So our goal is to isolate the absolute value. Right. So let's subtract 24 from both sides first. All right. What do we do next? So before I say what do we do next, I guess I should ask, is this isolated?
No.
No, it's not. So what else do we have to do to isolate it?
Divide
by 2.
Perfect. When we divide both sides by 2, I get x minus 8. I get 0. Oops. Ooh, that's bad. I get 0 divided by 2. Okay, what is that?
0.
Perfect. Okay, remember that there's a number on the bottom. It's okay. The only time it's bad is when the 0's on the bottom. Right? So I have the absolute value of x minus 8 is equal to 0. Right? So what property can I apply to this one?
Property 2.
Yeah, property 2. Right? If I have an absolute value is equal to 0, just apply that. Silence my phone real fast. All right, so then I get x minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, let's just solve for x. Get 8. Yeah. All right. Again, check it. Okay, you'll see that it checks out. Right, so our solution is 8. Alrighty. So for number 2, I have the absolute value of 3h plus 8 minus 13 is equal to negative 42. Okay. Again, first step, our goal, okay, when we see absolute values, our first goal is to make it look like this. Okay, this doesn't look like it yet. Okay, so what do I have to do to get there?
Add 13 to both sides.
Perfect. We're going to add 13 to both sides. Can someone tell me what is negative 42 plus 13?
Negative 29.
Perfect. Negative 29. Okay, it's just 42 minus 13, get 29, and we keep the sign that is bigger, which is the negative, which is negative 42. Okay. What next?
No solution.
Yeah, why is it no solution?
Because the absolute value of u equals a negative.
Yeah, so you can either say by property 3, no solution, right? If you don't want to memorize the properties, that's completely fine. As long that's just like a list of like a deeper understanding, essentially. Or you can just tell me absolute values cannot be negative, right? I already put by property 3 on the other one, so for this one, I'm gonna say absolute values cannot be negative. So what does that mean? That means this is no solution. Again, I want to say if you don't recognize that and you didn't like you didn't memorize the properties, all right, that's fine. If you still applied property 1, okay, you said 3h plus 8 is equal to negative 29 and 3h plus 8 is equal to positive 29, you'll just see when you do your checking is that they'll both be contradictions, right? Obviously, that's going to be more work, right? So that's why I suggest just knowing this, okay? But I just want to let you know it still works to do that. Okay, you'll still get the same answer, right? So now let's do the last problem. So I have 2y plus 8 minus 29 is equal to negative 11. Okay, let me bring this down and insert some space. Ooh, too much space. Right. So again, what do I do first?
Add 29 to both sides.
Perfect. Then I get this absolute value of 2y plus 8. Okay, this is plus 29. It's 29. All right, what's negative 11 plus 29?
18.
Perfect. Right, this can also be viewed as 29 minus 11. Okay, when you do that, you'll see that the 11, like the minus is attached to the 11, so you would take the positive sign because it's attached to the 29, which is bigger. Okay, for this one, so we just have an absolute value is equal to a positive number. Okay, so what does that mean? I can do 2y plus 8 is equal to 18, or 2y plus 8 is equal to negative 18. Okay, when I solve for y, I'm going to focus on the first equation first. So I have 2y is equal to 10. I have y is equal to 5. Right? Or this one is 2y. Subtract 8 from both sides. Right? Since they both have a negative, right, they're just getting more negative, so we can add them. So this becomes negative 26. Okay, so y is equal to negative 13. Right, again, we're going to check it. Okay, and after we check it, we'll see that y, we have negative 13 and 5 are our answers. Does anybody have questions over absolute values or anything we did today? No. Alrighty. So one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of class, we have a homework assignment due. Right, it is on Blackboard this time. Right, it is due on the 9th, which is a Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. It is concept questions. Okay, just go under course materials. Oh, that was bad. Okay, maybe I should. Let me try again. Under. Right, it's under course materials. Right, I was gonna make a video. Since we have extra time, I'll talk about it now. Okay, if you forget, you can. I plan on posting a video. So another thing is like we have a test on Friday. Not this Friday. On the 11th. Okay, so 9-11 is a test. Okay, after thinking about it, since there are some of you that are not in, like, will not be in Wichita during this time, right, I decided to make the test online. Okay, on Alex. Okay, so if you don't have Alex yet, you better get it. Okay, because you should have had it. Like, this is our 3rd week now. The test will be on week 4. Okay, so there's no excuses to not have it. I already posted a study guide on Alex. And yeah, so what you'll have to do, so on Alex, you're required to download this software. Okay, I think it's called Lockdown Browser. I put it on your study guide. So, so you guys can have it before the test, all right, and kind of practice with it. Let's see. Yeah, so take advantage of that. Let's see. So and then also the reason why I'm doing the course, so this homework assignment, the reason why I'm putting it on Blackboard is so you guys can also practice, because for this test, you will have to turn in your work via Blackboard. Okay. That I'll have some requirements. So, like, for example, if you have a piece of paper, right? Okay, and it has these little margins, right? So the first things first is when I want it clearly numbered. Okay, I do not believe in I don't know, treasure hunt or whatever with your work. Okay, so so there's that red margin on the left. Okay, I want you to number it to the left. Okay, so even with this homework assignment and for this, okay, you do your work. Okay, say your work ends on this line. I want you to skip a line and then you start on your second one, and so on and so forth. I do not want, so this, like if you put 3 here, that is wrong. Okay, I want single columns. Okay, for your number 1, say, like, if you wanted to, you could use the right side to check your work. All right, if you want to use all of your paper. Okay, but I do not want columns of questions. I will dock off points if you do that. Right? So same thing with the homework assignment. I would just want you to put 1, 2, 3. I think, I forgot. I think there's like 31 questions. Right? But it's all concept questions. Okay. I think does anybody have questions over the homework or the test?
I'd like to ask, like, for the concept questions, do you want us to write out the entire sentence, or do you want us to just write the answer?
You don't have to do that. Writing the whole question, that's a lot of work. Okay, so I'm fine with the answer. If there is, like, for example, we have blah, 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 there's a blank, and then there's a blank here, okay, you just have to separate, like, for example, say 1, I don't know, and then separate your answer by a semicolon, and then say your second answer. Okay, if you tell me 2, semicolon 1, I'm going to assume the 2 goes here and the 1 goes here, even if you thought the 2 went here and the 1, like, it has to be in order. Okay. Any other questions? Right. There'll probably be more questions about the tests as it goes on. I will make a more formal video, just like how to do an assignment, right? Because another thing is I want you guys, like, some of them, some people will scan it, all right? I don't care about scanning because I can't write on it anyways. I've tried. But one other thing is that if you take individual pictures, when you rename it, here, let me just show you my screen. First, okay, let me make sure my screen is okay to look at, and then I will share it. Yeah. Okay, so where you go, you just go to course materials, Okay, and this can be right here, concept questions. This is just like turn in your assignment. You can either take a picture, scan your work. Here's a few apps, like scanning apps, if you want to use that. Okay, if you scan your work, make sure your work is in order. If you take an individual picture, you must rename your file to the page number. So what do I mean? I mean, you go in here, you're gonna browse your computer. Okay, let's see. So for example, I'll just take something. So for this class, so there's a file name right here, a really easy way. So if you don't want to like rename every individual picture, because that's a pain in the butt, you just go to this link title and you would just put page 1, right? Or you can just put 1, I don't care. Or if you have multiple, so let me just open more. Okay, then you would put it at 2, 3, and 4. Okay, just make sure when you do it, it is in order, because I know sometimes the pictures go out of order for some reason. So just make sure you correspond it to that. Right. So, right. But I guess that's it for today. So you guys can use this extra 20 minutes to watch my lecture videos, because I know some of you are very behind. All right. So, right. Well, you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you on Friday.